Juan is fixing the Thot light.
We're fixing a Thot light, yo.
He's fixing the Thot light. Hey, listen. Sometimes you gotta fix the Thot light. I got one up here and I got one over here. I got one behind me. If you see that little square.
Yeah.
So, listen, I also got my fucking Thanos gauntlet that lights up too. I didn't put that in the background.
I'll see it over there.
No, that's just the Lego one. The small one. That's
a Lego.
That's the Lego one. I got the actual one that fucking glows and makes a sound.
That's hilarious.
Listen, I'm 35 and I'm a whole ass child with all this shit. Oh well, it's my money.
Are we all, bro?
Yeah, are we all,
bro? Yeah, I'm 35. I'm a whole ass child too.
Listen,
man.
I literally would tell a potential girlfriend, like, would you rather me spend my money on this, or you want me to go chill in a strip club and throw it on the hose?
Pick the hose.
She might say, you know what, let's go to the strip club.
Yeah, let's go to the strip club. That's the keeper.
That's the keeper. All right. Welcome everybody to our Potty Entertainment. This is actually episode 100. We're just doing a little something, here where I'm getting together with people that I know and I respect and I support. And today I'm actually joining me are the guys from the Carbon Footprint podcast, Juan and Sean. Say what's up to everybody, guys.
Oh, let's go.
So
fancy ass track.
Gotta give y'all the air horn real quick.
Let me give you the Carbon Footprint version.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that we make the kids come in here and do it.
That's a good one. Get them to record it and then use that as like a soundbite every time. And then when you guys just press the soundboard, you have the noise right there.
Yeah.
But no, just to give you guys, our listeners, some background. I've actually known Juan since 7th grade. So we actually went to the same middle school here in Elizabeth, Alexander Hamilton, which is now a high school, dude.
Is it really?
Yes, it's a high school.
I know they changed the name. It's a private high school, right?
Yeah, they turned a lot of the middle schools into part of the high school, but now every high school is its own entity. So even the main campus, even though they have, like 4 different houses or whatnot, they all serve as their main, like they all have their own principal and vice principal. Whereas before, each house just had a vice principal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I was just like, oh shit, what the fuck?
I never made it into the high school. I moved right before we started.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
we just dipped. We're like, all right, time to go.
Yeah. Hamilton was dope though, man.
Yeah,
Hamilton was smart, man.
Hamilton was. We had some good times there. Some good stuff in Hamilton.
I still talk to people.
Yeah, I see a few people here and there because my senior year I ended up going to Elizabeth High, so I graduated from Elizabeth High. So a lot of people when I came back, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing here? Didn't you move to Linden?" And I was like, yeah, but I'm back. Just don't ask questions. I'm back."
Yeah, he said, "Sean was a pro way before us, though. You went to high school in Queens, right? Oh no, you went to high school here. Oh, here. That's right. You moved down here to high school.
High school.
Also, you've been in Florida longer than
I moved here. I moved here in '88.
But you lived in Manhattan, and then moved.
So yeah, I was living in Manhattan first. I went to Catholic school, like 1st through 8th grade, and then after that, high school, we moved here. Yeah. And so, yeah, Florida school was a joke in comparison to Catholic school in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. I did more work in 7th and 8th grade than I did my whole 4 years of high school down here.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, geez.
That's facts, bro.
Hey, listen, sometimes that happens and you're just like, fuck.
You know how you see the headlines and it's always Florida men and some blame the school system, bro.
Oh, listen, anything that happens in the South, I blame the school system. I absolutely blame the school system and I blame No Child Left Behind. That's who I blame, especially up here in New Jersey. I blame No Child Left Behind for everything. I'm just like, yeah, product of No Child Left Behind. They should have left them behind a few times.
Yo, man, and I don't know if you got a drink going on, but you know, every week on the Carbon Footprint, we do a drink of the week. And this shit right here, man, I was messing around with some drinks this week. And this is what we're going to do today for our podcast.
What do you guys drink? What's in your cup?
It's we did the Captain Morgan's coconut rum with some pineapple juice, and then top it off with spiced ginger beer, and then squeeze a lime.
Nice. That's
fire. Dude, it's so fucking good, bro.
It don't even sound like it should go together.
No, but it sounds like that's a vacation cocktail.
Oh, I fuck. Yeah. It's definitely
well, you know, we in Florida, man, so you know.
That's a yo, hey, waiter at the resort. Can you make me this?
That's that when you in DR in the pool, bro. That's what you need to be ordering, bro. That's the
Listen, let me tell you about DR. I went to DR back in October. I went with my brother and I went with his best friend. We were there for like 6 days. As soon as we got to the resort, we had to wait for our rooms because our rooms weren't ready. We got there too early. So they're like, oh, you guys can go to the pool. And I'm like, all right, we'll go to the pool. So my room was the only one that was ready. So I told them, let's bring our stuff to my room. You guys can get dressed, whatever. We go out. We walk into the pool area. You smell the sex everywhere.
Yeah.
It was an adults only resort. Adults only resort is the way to go. I don't think I could go back to like seeing kids run around in pool. And I'm just like, no, I just want to see some girls throwing ass in the pool. That's what I want to see. Like, and listen, throw ass they did, because every day that shit was, I don't know if you guys ever saw the picture I posted on my IG. It's like of my brother.
Pretty sure I did.
And the girl's like in the background with her ass out, fucking twerking, and that's probably one of the most.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Pictures. It's one of the most legendary pictures I've ever taken, because he had no
idea. Literally twerking like here, and this dude's just like.
So you know, with the iPhone, you could like take pictures while you're recording video. So yep. While that was happening, I'm taking pictures as I'm recording, and then he happens to turn around. But he has no idea I'm recording because I'm all the way down at the other end. And then I took a perfect picture of him just literally dead set looking at me. And I was like, bang, snapped it.
I got to pull it up and show it to you. It's hilarious.
I showed it to our boy. I showed it to his boy that was on vacation with us. I was like, bro, look at this motherfucker. And then he looks and he's like, yo, this is the best picture ever. And that picture kind of became the theme for our trip. But yeah, DR is great.
Dude, that's that blackmail picture for later.
I told him, I was like, let me merchandise this picture. Let me monetize it. I was like, I'll make stickers, t-shirts. I'll put it on a hat, a keychain. Because
the look on his face is priceless. It's a great photo, bro.
I think
great photo.
I think I might get it. I might go on Sticker Mule and get like stickers for his birthday. His birthday's next month. So I'll just get it made into like stickers and shit, and just start handing them out to people like, oh, here, he's celebrating his birthday. But no, I definitely, been wanting to sit down with you guys for a minute, especially because we're both on this podcast journey, and we're both almost right there at episode 100, and that's definitely like a big milestone, because when you look at, they always say with the statistics, a lot of podcasts don't even reach their 10th episode. A lot of podcasts stop after like 5 or 7 episodes. So for you guys, and also for me to make it to our 100th, that takes a lot.
Yeah, it does, man. I think that the biggest thing is just the consistency. So like, with Juan and I, when we started out, we just committed to a day, and we're like, every day, on this, every week on this day, we're going to meet and we're going to do a show. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, I think the big piece is like, when we listen back the next day, because, we're drinking every time on the show. It's part of the show, right? We have the drink of the week. So we're drinking, and sometimes we listen back and we're like, oh man, like we don't like what we hear, or we're like, maybe we were a little bit too tipsy that day or whatever. But we made a commitment we're gonna drop it no matter what, and let the people decide.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think for us is like, we, obviously like anything else, we hope to monetize this one day. But if we never monetize it, it's like, how dope is this going to be for like our like next generation of kids, like my kids, his kids, right? To listen back to what their fathers or grandfathers were saying.
Grandkids,
back in 2020 through whatever, however long that we do this. Like, how dope is that going to be for them to be able to look back and see that and hear it?
Yeah, because like historical events happen all the time, and I'm like I've thought like, damn, I wonder what my grandmother thought at whatever this precise moment in history. And because of the way the podcast is structured and because of the things we talk about, we're gonna innately hit all these like kind of current events, and I feel like it's gonna be hilarious, when our kids go back and be like, damn, how was that war in Ukraine? Like, well, what was my grandfather saying about that? And I wasn't saying anything useful, but I was drinking and having fun with it, or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah, or it might be like, oh shit, that war lasted so long, and you guys only talked about it on one episode.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, exactly.
And it kind of goes to show, right? Where like we're not, like you're not in it, so it may not affect you as much, and so it's just not a hot topic anymore.
No, absolutely. Yeah. That's how we kind of look at it too. Our goal is to monetize. Like, I know for myself, I look at it like I discovered. You always see those memes and those videos of like, oh, this person didn't do this until they were this age or this, whatever, like Steven Spielberg or Steve Jobs or whatever, blah, blah, blah. For me, I love to do this. I love the pod. Like, I love to have this podcast. I discovered this at 33. Doing this, I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. Fuck everything else. I want to do this. And, I use the get rich or die trying scheme. Obviously, I know to monetize this, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of years. But for me, it's like, it's more about building the media company and just getting together with other creatives and just helping them move forward and push forward and get it out there. I've had people come up to me and say, like, yo, like, how did you just get started doing all that? I was like, yo, we just started recording. That's all you have to do. For us, I originally had no plans of this. It was my co-host Ray. He came up to me and he told me, yo, listen, like, we were at a bar, literally at a bar right here in Linden by our house, having a few beers. And then we were talking about a podcast that we both listen to, which is the Joe Budden podcast. So, okay. He's a pioneer in the podcast game. He's over 500 episodes strong, been around for 7 years. He knows that, he knows. So, we would sit there and talk about the episodes and be like, yo, this was fun. And then he's like, have you ever thought about doing this? And then I was like, I don't know. I was like, it would sound like fun. So he's like, yo, let's get this together. Let's do this. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Fuck it. This was back in 2018. So, life got in the way. Some things happened. So we kind of fell back on the idea. The following year, 2019, we saw one of our boys start his podcast. Our friend Paul, he started his. It's a sports podcast. It's called the No Timeouts podcast. He's one of our friends here from Linden. And we're like, you know what? That put the battery on our back. And we're like, all right, let's go and do this. And you know what? 91 episodes later, here we are. Where we realize it's not just about our podcast, but like, look, we spun off an additional podcast with our other friends where they have somewhere where they could talk and they could, do a different kind of podcast compared to ours, especially when we made the shift to become, focus a little bit more on just like entertainment, movies, TV, comic books, stuff like that, music, other podcasts. We've shouted you guys out before. So, we realized like this is what we want to do. Our goal is to have, to provide the service. So for, somebody comes up to us like, yo, I want to start a podcast, but I don't have like the budget to buy the equipment. Yo, you know what? Don't worry about it. Come to our studio, come and record. You can use our equipment. We'll, charge you small fee for any audio, any video editing, depending on what you, need done. So that's what we saw the bigger picture. We saw the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is to create a creative space, not just to monetize the podcast, but to have a space for creators. Because in New Jersey, you don't have that. You got a ton of podcast studios in New York City. I got online and I follow some of them on Instagram, and I'm like, yo, this is possible, but we don't have that here in New Jersey. So we're like, you know what? Let's get something like this. Let's do that. So that's our plan.
Yeah, and not for nothing, bro. Like, maybe your podcast doesn't pop, but you get five others that go mainstream. You know what I mean? So yeah, like this shit might lead you to places where you never thought it would.
And you only need the one, really.
Yeah, you just need one pops, bro. And when did we start? We started talking about hours back in like 2017, something like that.
Yeah, we used to work together. And we talked about it like over lunch once, like with a couple other people. Like we would joke about it all the time, man. And it wasn't until the lockdown, I think, that COVID, man, kind of forced. Like, I think had COVID not happened, we probably wouldn't have started it.
No,
right? Yeah, like I think it just COVID kind of forced us to just do it. Man.
Juan literally called me up and he goes, "Yo, man, I bought the mics. we're gonna go. You know, let's record." So it kind of takes somebody to just remove the excuses.
Yeah.
I'm relentless when I get locked in on something too.
That's what he did. He just removed the excuses, man. And it was like, all right, we're going to record. What are we going to talk about? And it was literally like, oh, what's going on? Oh shit. I think it was the Jordan, the Bulls fucking special.
Yeah. That's what we started on
ESPN. Remember that like
The Last Dance?
The Last Dance. That's
what started off.
That's what started. And we started on that. And then we just kind of like expanded, and we didn't even know what it was going to be. We just said, we're just going to get on and talk shit. And then slowly but surely, you know, we incorporated. We always drank, but then we kind of incorporated like the drink of the week,
right? But it wasn't part of the podcast. Like it wasn't like this week we're just like, oh, we're drinking wine or whatever it was. Yeah.
Honestly, and then so that actually, you guys answered a few of like the questions that I had, which is awesome. Because number one was, how did you guys meet? And you guys said you worked together, right?
Yep. And it's funny, dude, the way that we met, like. We shouldn't have met. Juan had no reason. He had no reason, zero, being in that position that he got hired for. He was not qualified. Nope. Nope. But no, man, like him joining, we were working for Hard Rock at the time.
Okay.
Him joining that. And then, man, like throughout the 14 years, obviously, we did the podcast, in the last couple of years, but, like our friendship, there's been things that have been revealed in even my life through things just from knowing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's been like having him as a friend is a blessing, man. And it's been real cool.
Oh yeah, bro. Dude's like my big brother, man. It became one of those, like, we got tight early on at work, and then our lives are so like parallel, and he just had like a head start on me. Like he was like, 10, 12 years ahead of me, man. So it's like, I would have like a conversation with him about something, and he would be like, yeah, man, like I've been there, and he would just, and it's funny, man, because people would be like, yo, how do y'all hang? Because I don't shut up, bro. I talk a lot. And then Sean is always super quiet. And he's quiet, bro. So people be like, yo, how do y'all even hang? I'm like, it works, bro. I let him talk. He just lets me talk.
Listen, I run my fucking mouth. I can't shut the fuck up sometimes. So I know.
And when I take my breathing breaks, Sean talks.
Yeah. When you take a sip of your drink, that's when the other one talks.
That's my cue.
That's his cue. I'm a sip, and Sean goes in. And it's funny because if Sean don't want to talk, because his thing that is like, he knows I'm gonna just keep rambling even if it don't make no sense.
Which just actually works out, bro, because like sometimes, like if you let Juan go on a subject, like he'll just go on forever if you let him. So on the pod, like it's cool because like if I feel like we're going too long on a subject, and I'm not always good at this.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're going too long, like I'll cut it and switch to something else.
Yeah.
So that we keep it flowing. So it just works, man.
And because we've known each other so long, there's no like ego there. Like I'll tell him like, bro, just cut me off. Like tell me to shut up, tell me to move on, change the subject, like whatever. Like we just like he knows, like I'm gonna start rambling, bro. So you better take me away from that or I don't shut up. So it works, man.
That happened with us a lot too. We had a lot of trial and error where it was, figuring out, okay, well, we don't want to ramble on one subject too long. So that's when we ended up getting a third person. We had our friend Paul come in, and he kind of served as like that, mediator. It was like, all right, well, let's segue into the next subject. So, because when we started, it was going to be just him and I. Then when we asked our friend, like, yo, can we record at your crib? He's like, yeah, come through. We'll all hang out or whatever. Next thing you know, all of our friends showed up. So it was one mic one very bad shitty ass mic. Wait, in a round table, a glass table at that, 6 motherfuckers talking into one mic. That's our first episode 1. That's what that is.
Yeah.
And you know what? The audio was trash. Like everything about it sucked, but the content was there. So as soon as we realized, like, yo, the content was there and people were reacting to it, and I was like, damn, people really sat there for 2 hours and listened to us. God damn. So then we're like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. Let's go. So we just kept going. And we just kept going. We, fine-tuned a lot of things. We no longer do 2-hour episodes just because it's not feasible anymore. But, now it's a lot easier for us. So our schedule, we record every other week. But on the Fridays that we record 2 episodes. So that way we drop even on a week we don't record.
Oh, that's good, man.
Let's say, for example, we recorded this past Friday. So the one that drops tomorrow will have like time sensitive stuff and, current stuff. And then usually the second episode is just like general topics that don't have that time sensitivity on them.
Yep.
So,
that's a good one.
We're making it work. We discovered we found the system finally 3 years later, but you know what? That's what it takes.
Bro, sometimes I think in that like search for perfection, you kind of use that as an excuse to not do it. Cause we struggle. I mean, to this day, we struggle with video. We struggle with like times where we didn't get something and it's just like, or you want it to be perfect. So you look for an excuse to not release it. But like he was saying before, man, we just said, you know what, man, we're just dropping it no matter what.
Yeah.
And like, I think once you get out of your own way and your own like insecurities about the stuff, man, like, dude, everybody talking into one mic. Like, I know for us, we would have used that as an excuse to not do it. Like, yeah, we only got one. You know what I mean? Like, so just shout out to y'all, man, for just like doing it. Like,
I think as time has moved on, I'm still super perfectionist about things. I'm like, yo, if the audio, like I was big on the audio, cause I sat there and I did my research. I'm like, all right, fuck the content. Like I get it. The content will always be there, but I feel like I was always reading like a big reason as to why a lot of people stop listening to podcasts is because the audio sucks. And I was always big, like, yo, we have to upgrade our equipment. We got to upgrade our equipment. And then, I'm the one that always took those initiatives. Like, yo, let's get this, let's get that. Or just, I would tell the guys, like, yo, I bought this shit already. Like, we're going to step our game up. We were recording our video off a fucking iPhone. Matter of fact, off of this. Now listen, this shit records in 4K.
We use that as an excuse to not do it. We should have.
Listen, this shit records in 4K.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, I'm down. Videos in 4K are fucking amazing. So I was like, I'll record it. I'll do it. I'll do the video editing. You could do the audio. You have a better ear for sound. I don't. So
and then what'd you do? Merge that sound and then with the video that you took?
We didn't start doing that until maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2. Yeah, like a year and a half ago.
So you just used the video or the audio from the mic on the wow.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, man.
And then I started doing the research. And then they were like, oh, I was like, oh, you could sync. As soon as I learned how to do that, I was like, yo, I need to turn around on this audio to be quicker than what you do, my guy. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I want to use that audio to put in our video. And then he's like, okay. So he saw that I was putting that effort. So he's like, all right, I got to step my game up too. And that's when we started doing it. And now everything sounds the same across the board. Whether you're going on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to listen to us, or you're going on our YouTube channel to watch our videos, the audio sounds the same. It doesn't sound different. It used to sound different. Now it doesn't. But I know with you guys, I like the whole like the drink of the week. You guys, that's one of the cool aspects of the podcast. And I like how you guys talk about serious stuff, but you also kind of like bring some light to it. You don't make it too serious. You'll talk about it and you discuss it and you guys all have difference of opinions, but then you guys find a way to just like make it funny as well. and you guys have a wide range of topics as well.
Yeah, nothing is really that serious if you think about it, man. Like, you know, all that cancel culture shit, and you know, I think we do a good job too. Like, we don't take each other seriously.
Yeah,
we don't take ourselves that serious. So shit that's going on in the world, it's just not that serious, man. And it's just like a lot of that shit is like, it's just hype for the day, and by next week, it's just something else takes its place. So we know that it's just, you know, nothing's really that serious. You can joke about anything.
Yeah, anything. And I think when we first started, remember, we would dwell sometimes on certain things and we made fun of something where we were like, oh, should we take that out? Or if we use a certain word, we're like, man, should we take that out? And then over time now, man, we honestly don't remove anything, right? Now we're just like, because we have dark sense of humor too, man. So like, we might find the most serious of topics. We're going to find the joke in there somewhere, man. It might not always hit, but we're going to make an attempt.
No, Juan, I've seen some of your stuff that you post on social media. I know your sense of humor is different. I'll sit there looking at some of the stuff he puts, and I'm like, this is a sick motherfucker.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I normally get the yo, don't be you right now.
I get that all the time. Like, yo, just try. I was like, what do you want me to be? And they're like, yo, just don't be you. And I was like, what? I was like, that's very difficult. But no, like I like that. And it was, you guys are definitely one of the podcasts that like I listen to like religiously. I actually got to catch up on some of your episodes, because I think the last one I listened to was like 90, 91. But I gotta catch up. I saw you guys, the last week's episode that dropped, you guys talked about like Coach K. So
yeah,
that was
do the one before that.
You know what? Yeah, do the one. The I Am Legend one. That one is,
do that one.
That one is, you know, once in a while, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it's like once in a while, you'll get that episode where you listen back to it and you go, fuck, that is so us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where like nothing is forced, and it's just like that is like us on a random fucking you know, Saturday or whatever. And there's not that many, but every so often, man, you just get this one where we're joking a lot, we're laughing a lot, we're so relaxed, and the topics just flow. And like that one with the I Am Legend.
Yeah, it's episode 95. I Am Legend.
The latest. That was probably the latest one that we listened back to, and it's like, fuck, man, that was good. Like if you listen to that and you don't like us, just don't listen anymore.
You're not gonna. Yeah. Though it's funny, man, because we get hit up on episodes or things that we think were trash.
Yeah.
And then people end up like loving it, and we're like, really, man? That's the one we disliked.
Yeah, we hated it.
Yeah, we hated it. And the drink thing is probably the thing we get hit up on the most, I think, is people telling us about they either tried the drink or telling us we doing too much. Or like the drink thing is the most like popular thing, I would say. So far has been that, or if we touch a nerve. I'm trying to think of if we've had a topic that has even touched a nerve.
Yeah, I don't know if we had any of those. But I do, we do get the random like messages, and whether Instagram posts or a text message or a phone call from people that I don't even know listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be like, oh man, like heard the show, like shit was dope. Y'all having me laughing as I listen to you every day on the way to work. And I'm like, fuck, man, that's awesome. Like, I don't know why anyone wants to listen to us, but you know, we got some listeners, man, so it's cool.
Yeah, no, that was us as well at the beginning when we got that feedback. They're like, yo, I listened to you guys on the way to work, you know, and that was our main thing when COVID hit. We're like, crap, like we realized it wasn't a lot of people, like, you know, because you try not to, but then you like sometimes you end up looking at the numbers and you're just like, damn, what happened this week? But
right.
But then you realize with COVID, especially up here on the East Coast, because our lockdown was definitely tighter than y'all's down there. People weren't going to work. People were working from home. So they didn't have that morning commute anymore where they could listen to us.
Yeah.
So
we actually got a huge spike.
We got a spike during.
We got a huge spike during COVID. Like, especially like last summer, I want to say from like April through like September, we got a huge spike, but the majority was from India. So who knows what who knows what.
Yeah, we had a huge, and we still have a big listener base in India, but for whatever reason, that summer, man, and maybe India was a lockdown. They have anything else to do.
It's because you look like a relative.
That's why I tell him I look like one of them, bro. I look Middle Eastern, bro. Yo, I get stopped at the airport every single time I go through, no matter what. So at this point, I learn to accept it, bro.
This is the shortest I've had my beard in a very long time. Like I usually have the full beard. All I'm missing is a fucking turban, and I'm getting turban.
Bro, the thing with y'all too, man, that I like is you were saying before where like a bunch of people just started showing up. It is kind of a hang. Whenever I listen to you guys or watch you on YouTube, it's dope because y'all got people just in the background just chilling who ain't got nothing to do with it. And they just in there just off camera, yelling some random shit.
We've had people who literally like, yo, we want to come to the podcast. Not we want to come and be on the podcast. We just want to come and hang out. And
that's dope. That's dope.
And I'm like, all right, cool. Y'all remember one time when we were recording in Ray's attic at the time when we were recording it, we literally had like behind the camera had like 7-8 people in his little ass attic while we're fucking but it was a fucking laugh amid we were dying.
So how was that? So how was that for you guys? Like when the 7 people show up, is that like, are you more comfortable? Are you less comfortable? Because now like they're coming to see a show, right? Like now you guys are performing, right? So like, how does that feel?
You got to be on your fucking game.
Yeah. You can't edit that, bro. You can't edit that. Y'all remember y'all had the little you had the sound bending right over you in the attic. And I was like, yo, if any of them stand up right now. I was like, yo, how they recording in the Harry Potter closet?
No, we like it. We want to do a live show. We would love to do like even if we have like 20, 25 people come through, like we want to do something like that where we have like a little live audience, and that's what we want to do. I think we feel like that would be fucking so dope because since we all get along so well, we loved it. I remember we were telling Ray like, yo, like, oh, I got 2 people coming through. And then our boy Paul's like, yo, I got another 2 people. And then our boy Steve is like, yo, I got 1 person. And then he's like, oh, cool. I got my girl and her friend coming through. Next thing you know, we got fucking 7-8 people behind the camera, behind the scenes, just watching us, just watching and chill. And we're like, yo, fuck it. Let's have fun with it. And that's what we did. We had fun with it. I actually missed those days where we had like mad people. It's just like, what are we all doing here?
Yeah, y'all would be talking, and then somebody new would just walk in, and then y'all just be dapping it up. Yo, somebody would still be talking in the pod.
Our friends didn't give a fuck. We're like, yo, you're walking right in front of the camera, right? And they're like,
in some ways, though, that's kind of the like I guess the cool part of it, right?
The endearing quality of the podcast.
Yeah, it's a hang. It's literally a hang. Yeah. It's like.
But that's the thing, we're all around the same age anyway, from 31 to 36. So for us, we don't really do much. A lot of us are married, have kids. I'm the only single person. Out of the 7 of us, I'm the only one. So I'm just be like, all right, so y'all don't do what I do for fun. But then it's cool because then I can tell whatever story, whenever I do go out, what stories we got to tell. But when we all go out, you don't want to be seen with us in public because we're horrendous people to be around with. It's just one of those things where I look at them. I was like, why did I take them out in public sometimes? But nah, they're my boys. I got love for them all. They're like my brothers. And, our group chat, oh, dude, that group chat is fucking wild.
That's the one that'll get us canceled for sure. Our text.
Our text.
Forget the podcast. Our text will get us.
No, yeah. Our group chat would get us fucking, like, everyone would hate us. They'd be like, yo, fuck them. I'm not listening to them. But, no. Like, so, do you guys have, like, a podcast you guys listen to?
Yeah. I listen to you guys occasionally. Yeah. I listen to Joe Rogan. I listen to Brilliant Idiots. And it's so tough, man, because like you want to stay up on everybody's shit and you just can't.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then like somebody like Joe Rogan who goes like 3 hours every day, like I can't keep up. So like with him, I'm very picky
because he does like 3 episodes a week.
At least, bro.
I don't even know if he has a schedule. I think he just goes.
At least. So with him, I'm more picky about who he has as a guest. So I listen based on the guest. The Brilliant Idiots, I really like them because theirs is kind of like ours, where it's just maybe like somewhere between an hour to an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I can get through that.
Yeah.
But even like I said, because I try to consume as much content as possible. You know, I read shit and you know, always trying to think about topics and what can we talk about the following week. But there's so much stuff out there, man. It's so hard.
Really
yeah, I listen to you guys. I listen to Rogan, obviously, but I'm same thing. Rogan's gotten so long now that I kind of pick and choose which ones I want to listen to. Yeah. And then my religious ones are like Flagrant 2, Brilliant Idiots. And then actually, man, and I've been trying to get into more of like more of the female podcasters. So I like the chicks from Horrible Decisions.
Yo, yeah.
And then I like Trash Tuesday. Yeah, Horrible Decisions is lit. And then Wheezy's from here, which is dope. Yeah. And she's from Orlando. And then I'll listen to
Mandy's from Florida.
She might be too, but I know Wheezy's definitely from Orlando. Oh. And then the Trash Tuesdays. I don't know if you ever heard Trash Tuesdays, but it's the Tiger Belly. The Kalila, the chick from Tiger Belly, who does it with Bobby Lee, like her and Annie Letterman and stuff. They have a podcast that they do, so I'll listen to theirs too. Theirs is probably not as frequent. You know, I'll try to catch up on it once or twice a month, but I would say religiously is Brilliant Idiots, probably in Flagrant. Those guys, because I think those guys are the ones that I kind of relate to the most.
Yeah.
I
do. For me, I'll listen to a lot of I listen to Joe Budden podcast. That was the first podcast I like got on and I listened to. The other one used to be Deezus and Mero, but they stopped. They haven't recorded in a while. I know they got their show on Showtime, so they've been doing. They do a lot of that. I've been trying to get definitely into like the female podcast, like Horrible Decisions, and then the other one that Mandy does, See the Thing Is, like that one, because that one started on the Joe Budden network, and then they moved on and did their own thing. And then I do like New Rory and Maul because they used to be on Joe Budden podcast, so now they got their own thing. So,
how is Joe now without them?
So it's
I haven't heard it since they left.
It's still good. Like the guys the 2 guys that he brought in, they're like his friends from like that he's known for God knows how many years. But for me, it's not the same because I feel like a lot of times they sometimes will say things just to either get a reaction or play contrarian for the sake of being contrarian, not to actually make a point.
Right.
So I'm just like I preferred it when it was the other guys. So, but I still listen to it here and now. I won't. When his other friends were on it, I used to every Wednesday, every Saturday listen to it. Now I'll catch up, like I'll binge a few episodes. I don't really like, I gotta listen to it. So, especially because his are long as well. He does 2-3 hour episodes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't heard him in a while, man. I haven't heard at all, man.
I know a conversation I had with the guys a few weeks ago in one of our episodes was, I definitely believe there's a lot of gatekeeping in podcasting. Whereas, the streaming platforms don't support like us, the little guy. Unless you're a celebrity and you have a fucking huge ass following, you're not getting a podcast deal. Right. I feel that's like that's a big thing of gatekeeping. And I'm just like, damn, like imagine if they took chances on smaller podcasts and like, we'll help you guys grow. They don't do that. They just care about what's already an established audience,
Yeah.
And the other thing I hate is now every celebrity has a podcast.
Yeah, everybody.
That's annoying. I hate that shit. And I'm just like, really, Conan, now you have one? Like everybody has. I'm just like, some are good, but then others just like, bro, like you wasn't shooting with us in the gym. Like you ain't, I feel like you hopped on the popular wave. You hopped on a wave that's popular because it's still in the ground floor stages. Podcast is like less than 15 years old. So it hasn't been defined yet. The rules are being written as we speak. But the people writing the rules aren't the people who should be writing the rules because it's only going to benefit them.
That makes sense, man. But I kind of feel like if you just like put your head down and like don't worry about that shit and just keep doing it, because I feel like the people that really hit, even unless you're already an established celebrity, like you said, people that hit, when you look at how long they've been doing it, like everybody's been doing it for years, and it's just like, fuck, like I just started listening to them, you know, in year 10, but they've been grinding for 10 years, right? So like I kind of feel like we got to put in the time.
Like that big time, bro. Ain't nobody listen to Rogan and then like last, 3 years, 4 years? Yeah. Like, and then Rogan been doing it for 10 plus, I think.
I don't know how long he's been doing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's a pioneer. He's the exception to the rule. You know, my statements were always towards like the people who literally just all of a sudden, now that podcast is the thing.
Yeah, celebrities.
You see all these announcements like, oh, so-and-so got a podcast deal. So I'm just like, but you like, really? Like, I don't know.
You know what it is, man? I think it's the shift in media now. Like
the way we consume things is different.
Yeah, you almost have to, I think, if you're them, because like, you know, especially like you someone like Conan back in the day, like getting the Tonight Show or whatever was your goal. It was you either had to have a stand-up special or you had to have a Tonight Show, or, you know, in order to be able to do your monologue or you know, get off whatever your opinion was on whatever hot topic. And I feel like now, because of the way we all consume things, you have to have a podcast just to get your opinion out there, just to get your content out there. Otherwise, you're just going to fall by the wayside. That, or you got to have you know, whether it's a YouTube show where you're just, you know, spouting shit, or, you know, like I think what's happened is podcast is the easiest one, right? Because it's like the path of least resistance. Just get a mic, get the thing, record, like just dump it and everybody can listen to it. Like you don't need a TV, you know, like if you just got a phone, you're anywhere, you can drop it. Or if you're in your car driving, you can listen. And I think podcast just became that, like, okay, well, what's the easiest thing that I can get into and still get my stuff out there? Because before, man, everybody was battling for like what's a sitcom? Or can I get, like, you got to wait for Jay Leno to have a stroke, or like, you know, and now it's like it's open for everybody.
Yeah, especially, you know, like, with the late night, like you had to wait till somebody retired or somebody fucking kicked the bucket for, you know.
Yeah. So I look at it like the opposite way. Like I go, man, if somebody like Conan or whatever jumps in late, I just go, cool, man, because now you're just bringing more of your eyeballs, and hopefully you stumble upon one of ours, like in that mix.
I see.
Like, I look at it the opposite. It's like, yo, man, bring eyeballs to people, because, you know, like we've all done it, right? Like you binge watch a Netflix show and then you go, all right, what next? Like, what am I going to watch next? Mm-hmm. And so I feel like by those people joining, then you just send people down that, you know, like that YouTube rabbit hole where you just start watching the same thing, man. And so I almost look at it the opposite way of like, yo, come on over, man, because get more eyeballs or more interest in this, because there's enough food for everybody to kind of eat, I think, you know, and I think that's
that line you just said right there. That was actually the name of one of our earlier episodes. Like I think it was like episode 7 or episode 8. Literally enough room for everybody to eat. And you're right about that. And I look at it like, you know, at the end of the day, for me, I had that thing too. Like when you say you finish binge watching a show, all right, what am I watching next? I felt that way back in October when we interviewed DJ Drewski from Hot 97. I was like, all right, right now he's the most famous person I've interviewed and the biggest person I've interviewed. So now where do I go? So it's one of those things where, you know, you talking with him and then, you know, linking up with his brother, because I'm cool with his brother. He's the one that kind of brought him to us. So, but his brother has like hella connections. So I, you know, stay in contact with him, and he's like, yo, I can help bring so-and-so onto the podcast. Let's work together. Let's do this. And I'm just like, yo, fuck it. Let me take that relationship, foster it, and, you know, make something out of nothing.
Yeah, man. You know, what we do is we rely on our, you know, speaking of like naming the podcast, right? Like the episodes, we try to be creative with naming it. And then we'll even use like music tracks, things that coincide with what we talked about. Because sometimes, you know, we want people to just stumble across us. Yeah. So if you're searching for a popular song that just happens to coincide with what we were talking about, we might name the episode that because somebody's going to run across it. So it's like whatever we can do, man, to try to get try to get some exposure, man. We're game.
Yeah, and if you look at some of our most popular episodes in terms of downloads, it'll be named after a song, and it could be a classic or it could have been something in the top 40. And that was always by design, because then we go, what we started looking at too was like average listening time. It's like you might have stumbled onto us by accident, but did you stick around then?
Yeah,
and some people did. Yeah. And if you get 1 or 2 listeners out of that, like, cool, then they'll tell their friend, and maybe you get 1 or 2 more out of that, and it grows. And so, like, for us, it was always like, I don't really care how you get to it. Just get to it. Like, yeah, as long as you stumble upon it.
So I know one last thing I'm definitely going to, cover, because it's definitely something I'm a fan of when I listen to y'all podcast, is you guys, every podcast, you have your carbon footprint. You always select somebody or something. And how did that come up? Like, how was that integrated into the podcast?
Was it even? I don't even want to take that. Yeah, I don't even know. Like,
listen, I'll be honest, man. This we giving you exclusive content right now.
Yeah, for real.
All right, let's go.
We had the way that we came up with the name. We used the carbon footprint as something else in our work environment.
Yeah,
that will remain top secret.
Yeah,
but it was always like leaving your impression, right? And so when we did that, we were like, yo, like, who left the impression this week, And so we just kind of picking it. It's always personal stuff, man. So if I read something, it could be a medical breakthrough. It could be like last week was Coach K retiring, right? Like, and I use that to go, not because of what he did in his career, because of course by itself that was amazing, but like how many lives did he touch over his career? Like that's why I gave him the carbon footprint. So it's really like we don't typically like collaborate on the carbon footprint. We kind of come to the show with, you got one, I got one. There's some weeks where I don't have one and he has it, or vice versa. So yeah, that's kind of how we just started like that.
Yeah, we just started, and it just kind of like grew over time. And then I don't even know. Early on, we kind of decided it didn't even have to be something positive. It just had to be something like, everybody leaves their mark, and sometimes it's negative. Sometimes it's an asinine thing. Sometimes it's a dope thing, like a medical breakthrough. It's just like, if you think of that person, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And then we just started looking for events or things that happened that week that you're like, oh, that's what they're going to be known as, right? Like Will smacking Chris Rock. I think forever you're going to see, Will Smith is going to forever be tied to that. And the first thing you think about now is not Fresh Prince. It's, that's the dude that smacked the shit out of Chris Rock, like on stage. And so for us, it just became one of those, like, you pick something and then you don't have to necessarily, it doesn't have to be positive. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be funny. It's just like what was impactful that week, or who was impactful, or, something like that. So
that's a good fucking answer. Yeah. That was a good answer.
But to his point, it did grow from an expression we used all the time at work, and because we had to keep it PC. And then from there, it just turned into this, man. And when we were thinking of titles, because what was the original? We had an original title, and we realized talking to your point earlier about us, people taking shows, we had a title, and it had something to do with drinks. It was Jimmy Fallon had his own show on fucking YouTube, or another segment in his show that was named after what we originally called it. Was it Bottoms Up, or I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was something like
drinking
that.
related, man. And then we did one episode, and I think we dropped it, maybe episode 1 and 2 as that title, right? As that podcast. And then we changed it like 3 episodes in, maybe 2 episodes in, because we found out, like, I think YouTubing or Googling ourselves or looking for a thing, we stumbled on his.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
I can't remember.
But it's something like that, something like a Bottoms Up, and then it was like Jimmy Fallon had his own, like, not necessarily a show. I think it was like a segment.
It was a segment inside, his show, But he would basically he would take it and they would chop it up and put it on YouTube to try to go viral. And it just became one of those things where, like, Jimmy Fallon already had it. So I was like, all right, well, now we can't use that. Yeah. And we were ecstatic about that title, man. And then the carbon footprint one just we were like, it was so obvious. When we thought of it, we're like, why didn't we go with that one before? In the first place? Yeah.
Yep.
That's how you, I feel like that's how you got to do it. Because or else you're just like, oh, fuck, like, it's not going to work out. It's a lot of trial and error. Trust me, as a fellow podcaster, I could definitely, relate. I'm just going to end it off with, I definitely want to congratulate you guys, because you guys are nearing that, 100th episode, that milestone. And I really hope you guys, 100 more after that. And just
appreciate it, man. Y'all too, man.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Congrats to the podcast, man. you and your whole crew, man, you guys just keep doing it. Like I said, it's not, it's the journey, bro.
Yeah, man.
So keep the journey going, man, and keep a foot on each other's back and just keep pushing each other.
Yeah, man. I love the media company idea too, man.
I have my foot on everybody's neck. I was like,
keep it there, bro.
But yeah, the media company, that was an idea where we said, you know what? It's more than just a podcast. That's literally for us. Our inside tagline, like our joke, is like, yo, it's more than a podcast. It's a movement. Like, we're trying to get everybody in. So I've pitched ideas to my friends because, like, I have a friend, for example, he's big on, investing and Wall Street and all that. So he does a lot of Instagram lives, or he does, he'll post a lot of stuff on his stories. And I've hit him. I'm like, yo, that should be like a pod for you. Like, you should do that. And yo, we could drop that shit every other day, or we can, whatever. Or if you want to do a weekly one, whatever you want to do. I'm like,
you gotta bring him in on yours, bro. Bring him in for a fucking segment.
Do like a 5-minute little segment, bro.
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be an hour. Just like little 5 minutes, and just throw him in on yours.
I've been harassing him for months already. I'm like, yo, I need you on the podcast. Like, now, I need you to come in and sit for a few minutes. It ain't gotta be long. Just sit, talk, and that's it, bro. We'll test it out.
Yeah, bro. Tell them to get on it, man. Because we always talk about this, bro. Is something that's normal to you isn't normal to everybody else, man. We all have something that we're super good at that we can, you can monetize. And we're not talking like, you may not be a millionaire, but I think if most of us said like, yo, you can make whatever it is, if you could just make a living doing something you love or something that like most of us would take it.
Oh, like, I have a number. And I'm like, yo, if I could make that number from podcasting, it's not even like a ridiculous amount. It's just enough where I don't need to work a 9 to 5, and I can just do this, have my own schedule, and do this whenever I want, but earn that amount of money.
Yeah,
that's all. I don't want.
How many people are waking up miserable every day for $50K, bro? It's like you might as well do something else for $50K. Exactly. Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, I spent 8 years at a job that I hated. I was miserable every fucking day. Everybody does.
Yo, I got fired last June, 4 days before my birthday. That was the best thing that could have happened to me.
I was just gonna say that's probably a blessing, bro.
It was a weight off my shoulder. I have spent these last few months, I was traveling, I was just chilling, just getting back to me, learning more about this content creation game, and just, this is what I want to do. Even now, I'm job searching, but the jobs I'm looking for are jobs in the podcast industry. I'm not looking for like a 9 to 5. I'm not looking for none of that shit. I want a job in the industry. That's what I want. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm going to get my fucking foot in the door, and I'm going to keep it there so they won't close it on me. And this is what I'm going to do, because it's going to benefit me with my business, with my media company. And it's just going to help me grow. That way, once I'm done getting what I need from them, all right, cool. I'll do my own thing. If I got the money, boom, that's it.
Yeah, man. Yo, and then shout out, dude, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, man, but you guys had an author on one of your podcasts in the last couple weeks. And the book sounds hella good. So I think I'm going to actually read it. But I went down the rabbit hole. Man, hold on. I'm gonna pull it up right now because I like the you guys just had him on there, man. And I think you might have edited the podcast.
Oh, you're talking about my
Axe and the Spear.
Okay, yeah. So that are the two guys that did the interview, right? So the black guy Coel and the other guy Paul, they're the hosts of the Toxic as Friends podcast. He got COVID around the holidays. While he had COVID, he wrote a book.
Get the fuck out of here,
bro! Because he's talking about the book, and I'm like, yo, that shit sounds lit, man. I'm like, all right, I got it bookmarked on my IG. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna have to pre-order the book.
Good for him, bro. That's amazing.
That episode drops the 20th. That episode drops next week.
Nice. The interview?
The interview, yeah. That episode, it'll be on YouTube, but we'll also have the audio version. We'll drop it on audio platforms. That episode drops next week. I'm so proud of that episode because I produced it. I did the behind the scenes, and I finished the video. Like, the video's done, is wrapped. But I told him, I was like, you know what? This is your project, your baby. You tell me when you want to drop it. His book drops the 28th of April. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna drop it a week before the book comes out, and then I think tomorrow we're gonna start like the quote unquote the press run. We're gonna push promo videos every day, drop trailers. He's having a book release party at the end of the month. Like it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be good. But yeah, I'm so proud of that episode. That episode is gonna be so fire. So I can't wait for you guys to see that, because you got
me to click it, bro. You got me to go click his thing and then go down his rabbit hole. So it worked, bro. Yeah, and that's without the episode. So
listen, I appreciate that. I'll let him know that he got somebody. There's somebody's hyped for that episode. So he'll definitely appreciate that, because he's a hardworking dude, and for him to write a book while he had COVID, and
that's amazing, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to listen to that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a big thing. So
that's dope.
He's gonna appreciate that. But yeah, no, I thank you guys for coming through. I'm so glad we got to do this. If I'm ever in Florida, we'll link up and we'll do
come through, bro.
An episode in the room. If you guys ever find yourselves in Jersey again, I know we ain't got much up here anymore, but if you guys ever find yourself up here, and you want to kick it with us, come through and we'll definitely do something. All right.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Hell yeah, bro.
From our pod to yours, man. Happy 100.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Fifth Ward Media, episode 100 of Our Pod Your Entertainment. I am Ralph. Wes and Ray ain't here. Don't worry about it. I'll hold it down. We out.
Peace.